So the Las Vegas Raiders just pulled off a huge victory against the Kansas City Chiefs to make sure that we had at least some positivity to end this season. And I, for one, am super happy about it. Now, watching the game was pretty torturous. I mean, I kind of would rather watch paint dry on the wall than what I just witnessed for the past few hours. But I will say this. There's two things that I learned from this. Number one, our offensive line still needs a lot of help because Ashton Jeanty is still getting hit behind the line of scrimmage, but when he does have a crease, he does make something happen out of it, and that is really good. The next thing that I did learn out of this is that Aidan O'Connell is not it. Kenny Pickett is not it, and we already know Smith is not it. So we don't have a quarterback, which means with the number 1 overall draft pick, the Raiders are going to select Fernando Mendoza. Yes, I believe it will be Fernando Mendoza, even though in my previous video that I made today, I did say that I believe that the Raiders could do something crazy and look for a long-term build, which would mean trading away Max Crosby and that first overall draft pick to stack up a ton of first-round draft picks. That would then allow you in 2027 to go after Arch Manning. He would be a superstar in the NFL. He has all the intangibles that you want for a superstar, and that's what you're going to get with him. Are you going to get that out of Fernando? We really don't know because of the offense that he played in Indiana, which was heavy RPO. And with a heavy RPO offense, you don't really get to see and analyze a quarterback's ability to scan the entire field, go through read progressions, because usually it's handoff to the running back or fake the handoff and just a quick toss, and there you have it. That's the end of the play. So we don't really get to analyze just how good Mendoza is. But when you look at Arch Manning, he is definitely something special. I don't think that the Raiders are going to do that because it is risky. You could still end up missing out on Arch Manning, even though you've done all of this, but it would go a long way to really getting some highly touted talent on the offensive side of the ball. And as I've said in my earlier previous video, as much as I love Max Crosby is a luxury we cannot afford to have. And why is that? Well, because defensive ends don't have the impact on a game, unless you're Myles Garrett, like Max Crosby does anymore. He hasn't even had over, I think, 16 sacks in his entire career. Myles Garrett just polished off 23. So he's definitely not a Myles Garrett. He is a top 10 defensive end, but he's not winning us games. Since he's been here, we've been to the playoffs one time. What wins you games in this league are two things: a high quality offense with a top-notch franchise quarterback and corners. Corners are the prestige, let me correct that. They are the prestige defensive talent that you actually need because lockdown corners stop those franchise quarterbacks from being able to kill you down the field. If you don't have that time and time again, then you're going to just continue to lose. Doesn't matter if you have a really good defensive end who can 10 times on a year sack a quarterback. Quarterbacks throw the ball hundreds and hundreds of times in a season. So getting sacked 10 times doesn't mean anything. What you have to have is your franchise quarterback. You have to have a franchise cornerback and a really strong secondary in today's NFL. You have to have that offensive line because championship teams, they have really good offensive lines, top 10 offensive lines. A top 10 defense, really good, really helpful, but a top 10 offense is what wins and gets you into the playoffs, gets you all the way to the Super Bowl, and possibly bringing home that Super Bowl trophy. So I know that Aidan O'Connell, moving forward, he's never going to be our starting franchise quarterback. I know, and I love Aidan O'Connell. I've made a lot of videos over the years about Aidan O'Connell and that he has some potential, but he never grew into it, and it's been injuries and lack of playing time. All of that is played into it. But I think there's a few things that you need to do. Number one is we're not re-signing Kenny Pickett. He is a no-brainer. You don't bring him back. But Aidan O'Connell, I think he's just the backup quarterback. It's his final year of his career with the Raiders. You let him finish out his last year, no biggie, and then you probably let him walk or sign him to a cheap deal. But you have to go out and get Fernando Mendoza. I think that's what the Raiders are going to do. I would go absolutely bananas if Arch Manning decides that he somehow changed his mind and he's coming out this year, because I think that Arch Manning is something really, really special. I think that he has got that Caleb Williams confidence, and he's got that just specialness about him, like Jaden Daniels, CJ Stroud. I think that he is going to be a superstar in the NFL. He's going to win a lot of games in the NFL and probably some Super Bowls to go along with that. But he's probably not coming out. He already said he's not. So we've got to look at what we've got right now. And that's Fernando Mendoza, 6'5", 225 pounds. He can move. He can get out of the pocket. He can outrun some defensive linemen. He's not going to be outrunning linebackers. He's not going to outrun safeties or corners, but he can get out and extend some plays when he needs to. The best thing about him is he is extremely cerebral. He is a very smart, high IQ football player, and he makes really smart decisions, and he can make every throw out there on the field. So I think Fernando Mendoza, you're in our future. Now, I want to pivot to the coaching situation because we know the season is over, and all of the rumors have been that Coach Carroll is out the door. He is gone. He is done with the Raiders, one and done. Is that what the Raiders are going to do? I think so. If the Raiders are going after Fernando Mendoza, you've got to go and get a coach that will be with him from the beginning. You've got to go get a offensive-minded coach, whether it's Clint Kubiak or somebody else. You have to get your young, offensive-minded head coach in there, get him established with his franchise quarterback to build that bond together, and then they can really grow and help each other win games. If you're not going to do that, if you're going to trade away that first overall draft pick in hopes of getting Arch Manning lottery in the future, then maybe you keep Pete Carroll for another year. So what the Raiders are going to do in the draft, I think, is going to be foretold based on what the Raiders do with Pete Carroll. If he stays, there's a high likelihood the Raiders are going to trade away that first overall draft pick. If he leaves, there is a very high likelihood that the Raiders will stay at number 1 and they will draft their Fernando Mendoza. He will be the franchise quarterback for years to come if he pans out. But remember, it's always a crapshoot. We get these guys in the first round. Some of them pan out, some of them don't. Kenny Pickett is a former first-round quarterback. Really good coming out of college, but he didn't pan out. So I'm really excited to see what the Raiders are going to do. I hope you are as well. We're going into the offseason. It was yet another downturn, another downer of a year for the Raiders this year, but that's okay because now we have something to look forward to, and that's 2026. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to drop a comment down below, and I want you to tell me what your expectations are for the coach, what your expectations are for Fernando Mendoza. Should the Raiders go and just snatch him up at pick number 1 or trade that pick away and hope for the Arch Manning lottery? Or, what do you think the Raiders are going to do with Maxx Crosby moving forward? Drop your comments down below, like, follow, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.